3 weeks with the 1000XT collection was actually pretty great, but I have a really good hot take, which is that it's no better than the XM6, but if you really want this, there's only 1 or 2 reasons why you should get this. And I'm going to share about this in this particular video, so let's just dive right in. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the hardware standpoint, and let's just start off with the driver, which is a slight improvement over the XM6, and that's the unidirectional 30mm carbon driver that you would find in these headphones that's supposed to hit high frequency handling and wider soundstage. And honestly, the XM6 was already a fantastic headphones that sounded really good for what it is. In fact, it was definitely an improvement over the XM5s in certain areas, comparing the XM6 to the collection, honestly speaking, it sounds exactly the same. I couldn't tell the difference. In fact, even when I could, it only mattered in about maybe 1 to 2 songs out of 1000 songs that I've listened to. And the remaining 998 songs that I've listened to on both of these headphones have remained to sound the same. And I think you are not going to miss out on a lot, especially if you're using the XM6. The collection sounds pretty much the same, and I don't think that is a reason, a good enough reason to upgrade or to actually side grade in this case to this one. Now, the place where something did change is actually in the DSEE. Now, DSEE is a software-based algorithm that kind of upscales the audio from a 320 kilobit, or Sony likes to call it the CD quality, to a more high-res quality. Now, the XM6 had the DSEE Extreme. In fact, my XM5 also had the DSEE Extreme. Before that, we had the DSEE HX, which was already doing a great job. And I am a fan of the Extreme because the Extreme does upscale streaming level audio quality to a slightly better audio quality, which is kind of nice. Well, Sony made a much more improved version of the DSEE Extreme and called it the Ultimate, and it's included in the collection. In fact, this is the only headphones to have the Ultimate at the moment, coming from Sony. And this time around, Sony says that they actually use AI to actually improve the audio quality furthermore. Now, comparing the DSEE Extreme and the Ultimate, and with it turned off, I gotta say DSEE Extreme definitely did upscale, and it didn't sound like something that was artificially done, though there were moments, but I would say the moments were about like 15 to 20%, whereas the DSEE Ultimate definitely shows, or you can definitely tell, that the audio has been heavily processed with the help of AI. Now, this is where I feel like the DSEE Ultimate is a bit of an interesting addition to the headphones, don't get me wrong, but again, I think it's gonna be a acquired taste because not many people would like it, and by that, I also fall in that category, and I like the Extreme over the Ultimate. Is there a way to toggle between the Ultimate to Extreme or HX? Well, no. Unfortunately, you are stuck with an option between Extreme or turning it off, and I would recommend turning it off, listening to it for a while, and then turn it on and listen to those same songs again to see if Ultimate really fits your listening style. So thirdly, Sony included an additional button to the collection, which is the 360 upmix. Now, Sony loves their narrative on 360 reality audio, but unfortunately we don't have a lot of platforms supports that. But anyways, the 360 upmix is supposed to kind of give you the virtual surround sound in 3 different profiles. I think there's the atmospheric profile, there's the cinema profile, and another one. Now, personally, I don't like the upmix because the upmix definitely ruined a lot of music for me. Now, there are platforms that still has 360 reality audio level of 360 reality music, which is like Apple Music, which also supports its own with the help of Dolby Atmos, but platforms that used to carry 360 reality audio no longer carries them, like Tidal for instance, so you're pretty much stuck with your usual music. If you listen to some of the songs which we did try in normal mode and atmospheric mode and also the cinema mode, these were our personal take. Now, for example, Let It Happen by Tame Impala sounded very normal and standard, which is fantastic, but it sounded muddled with the vocals, and it had echo, reverb in its music, and sharp and bassy with no clarity in vocal in the cinema mode. Now, when we tried songs like Iconic by Mistake, which was available on Apple Music with Dolby Atmos, with the Atmos mode, we can actually hear how the spatial presence of the audio was. But when we turned on the upmix and turned off the Atmos, the low ends were bassy. It has an extremely echoey presence. And in the cinema mode, I feel like it just lacked details entirely. And again, this song in the Atmos configuration in Apple Music was already pretty good to begin with. I don't think you need the upmix here. Now, next up, another K-pop song that I listened to was It's Me by Ilit, because I think when she goes, "Who's your bias? I'm your bias," you can actually see the audio moving around like, zones, which is really nice way to test it out. But with the 360 upmix, honestly, I have to say that it loses the magic, and in cinema mode, it's just unbearable with bass thumping like it's blasted in a club. So if you're really someone who is an audio enthusiast and you want to enjoy 360 audio, I think you wouldn't even use this feature in the first place. I think you would just enjoy the audio in the Dolby Atmos that's natively streamed on any kind of streaming platform. Now again, you don't have to worry about setting up the 360 reality audio, because the upmix works independently from the 360 reality audio. Now, finally, when it comes to hardware, we do have some interesting changes. We get the Bluetooth 6.0 here, and it now supports Auracast. So if you already have an Auracast device at home, you can actually switch the audio without the need to worry about unpairing and repairing it at your confinements of your home, right? That's fantastic. So seamless connectivity for the win. Great. Now, obviously, though the features are minor, but these definitely require a lot of processing power, and that's the reason why the battery life has gone from 30 hours on the XM6 to 24 hours on the Collection. But for the most part, I feel like this headphone would stay at offices, at homes, rather than people traveling with it. But if they travel with it, I mean, you know what? Everybody has their personal opinions or personal preferences to that. Now, let's talk about the aesthetics. And I gotta say, this is definitely one of the most premium looking headphones that I've seen in the market, alongside Sonos Ace, AirPods Max, because it really does rival the likes of those. What I do love about the Sony 1000X the Collection is that how metalcore it looks, because it looks very Y2K kind of design. So the white one we have has a silver band, and the black one has a black band, but it's a metal band, right? So I kind of wish that the black one had a silver band as well, so it kind of looks like a very metalcore aesthetic. I am a huge fan of that. So I do love the white right now, and it really is a very beautiful looking headphone. With vegan leather used on the headband, the ear cups, the ear cups outer area as well, where the touch panel, the buttons all sits, and even the buttons are now like, it has this metallic kind of brushed finish going on, which is really nice, and it definitely holds up to the premium aesthetic. That's not all. The case that it comes with is also really cute, because it has this handbag kind of look. All you need to do is just open up, and then you can just put the headphones inside, and bam, you can carry it anywhere and anywhere. But again, because this headphone also has a weight to it, I feel like this headphone is fantastic just to listen at home and at office, and maybe at certain select locations. Because for me personally, I'm still going to carry the XM6 when I travel, because this is so light. I can fold it to such a compact form, and I can throw it in my bag. I don't have to bring the case and so on. Now, let's talk about the one huge flaw this particular headphone has, and that was a deal breaker, which is the headband. Now, I'm going to show you something that's pretty interesting. Now, this headphone has been with me for over a year. There are battle scars on it. So now if I were to yank it, you can actually see that this particular cup stays stiff and this is a little bit loose. But regardless of that, it's still great, because I mean, over the time, obviously these type of headbands tend to get loose because, it loses the friction and all that. That's okay. Now, I do have my XM5s here. These are 4 years old, and if I were to yank it, obviously you do see this particular ear cup dropping. Now, this is very normal, and you know what? Especially over the point of time when these happens, this is wear and tear, right? This headphones has been around with me for 3 weeks, and before that, someone else was reviewing it, and this shouldn't happen in a headphones that's less than 3 months old. So you see it drops immediately, which means these joints gets loose very fast, and because there's no clicks to it, you don't have a fixed position, and when the ear cups kind of goes outwards, you can actually see the band kind of goes outwards as well. This is not a good sign, because obviously, Sony has had a pretty terrible history with joints on the headphones. If you go on Reddit, you can actually read about that. Now, I'm glad that they used this metal band, but also at the same time not reinforcing it or not giving us the clicky, adjustable band is a bit of an oversight. Actually, it's not a bit, it is really an oversight. So I feel like they should really fix this. And Sony, if you're watching this, I really think you should fix this, because this is a huge deal breaker. And while I was using this headphone was sliding off my head all the time, no matter what. Like, all I need to do is I just need to adjust this much. But while I was using it, when I'm leaning forward or when I'm like straight back or something, sometimes this would just get loose and then it would just fall off my head. That is not good. But apart from that, I have to give my personal take on these headphones, because I've been a Sony user. Like, case in point, you can actually see I have 3 generations right here, right? Now, ultimately, if you're getting the 1000X, the collection, it's going to be mostly for the looks, because hardware-wise, though it is an extremely minor upgrade, it is not a huge upgrade to a point that every XM6 users need to change to that. In fact, I feel like XM5 users don't even have to change to that, right? But if you really want the aesthetic, right, like this particular metal looking premium and luxurious headphone, then you should consider it, but with the note of the hinge, because this is what I'm really concerned about with the collection, because I'm the second person to use this. I don't know who was the previous person, but if the hinge is already loose, I'm worried that if this is going to be a long-term issue, or I do hope that this issue is only with my unit. So if anyone has any thoughts and opinions on this particular headphones or using it and has some sort of feedback that they want to share, please leave it down in the comment section below, because I would love to hear from you all. And hopefully I can actually share it with Sony Malaysia as well, so that way they can do something about it as well. Alright then, thank you so much for watching this video. I'm going to be returning the 1000X collection back to Sony. I don't plan to purchase that anytime soon, because I already have this, which is my everyday companion at this point. And also at the same time, I still have my XM5 for gym, so you know what? I'm set. I'll see you then. Bye.